I am back live again, coming at you. We're going to do take 2 on Get Outside. One of the reasons I like to explain to people to get outside is because a lot of us that have been, unfortunately, forced to be locked down and forced to be in the situation that they're in, we're noticing things that are going on our screen. We're noticing, oh my gosh, we're seeing things on TV that are on our screens of, the military picking up. We're noticing that there's a lot of activity going on in the world, but how many people are actually outside looking at it? Instead of saying, oh yeah, I saw this on this report, or I saw this on this channel, or I saw it on this newsreel. How many of you are actually outside going, yeah, I seen this, I see this, I see that, and confirming it with your own eyeballs? Well, that's how it's going to happen, folks. You get outside and you look around to confirm. I mean, just by saying, oh, this person said this person said that, it's not necessarily going to help us. So we need to get outside and we need to start looking around and seeing if some of these things are happening. I can tell you right now, I've seen on a couple of channels and even on Fox even reported that branches of our military are being activated, and that the National Guard and they're running drills for domestic terrorism. Really? Well, I can confirm it. How can I confirm it? By getting outside, by listening. Where I happen to live, near Tulsa, we have the National Guard and a military base not too far from my house. F-16s, usually between 2 and 4. Now this is typical. Typically, they do a buzz around. They fly around, once a day, and it's usually between noon and 1 o'clock. That's it. That is average. That's their normal. Well, when you get to where we're at recently, actually today I haven't heard one yet, which is really quite strange, because recently, and I mean recently as in the past, sorry about that, in the past 6 months, they've been picking up. Like, I'll hear them twice a day, and then 3 times a day, sometimes 4 or 5 times a day. And just literally, what's today? Today's Monday. So on Saturday, I heard them 5 times. And they're not just going in their normal flight, and there's a normal flight pattern that they do. They're changing flight patterns and how they go around the city, completely changing them. And each time that they do their little flight pattern, they're doing it in different directions. Something's happening. I know that there's been a lot of military helicopter activity. They've been buzzing all over the place, going in different directions. And I know a lot of helicopters have sniffers on them. And the sniffers are actually sniff for radioactive signatures and other chemical, whether it be biochemical or toxic chemical, whatever. I mean, that's what they sniff for. That's what they do. That's not too far from me, folks. And I'm like, ooh, that ain't good. So if you think about it, we need to get outside. We need to look around. We need to see what's going on. Now, oh, thank you for the thumbs up. Now, somebody actually happened to request on my previous one that only you can only see my lives is if I'm live, because you have to have at least 1,000 subs in order to go live and have it save on your videos for other people to watch. So, and before too long, I'll have 1,000 or more. I'll be able to go live and it'll actually store and save. If I can manage to change it, what I got now on private, and I can get it over to public, I'm gonna try and do that once I get to the house. But I was asked about Rh negative blood, and someone asked me about going on to it. Well, I'm not very scientifically, ethically prepared to speak on it because I don't have a lot of information on it. I have a little bit of knowledge, but not a lot. I try not to dive too deep. Oh, that's a big old dog. No, you just stay your little fun buns over there. You guys look at the size of that dog. You guys see him? That's a big old dog. Hey, stand on top. Woo! I'm nothing but a little snack. I'm just a snack, buddy. I'm just a snack. Leave me alone. Woo! Holy cow. His tail's wagging though, so that's a good thing. Live YouTube. Almost got my butt chewed on. Not much there, guy. I got teeny little unfun buns. Anyways, sorry. But with Rh negative blood, there are some people it depends on your blood type. If you have A positive, B positive, you don't have Rh negative. If you're A negative, B negative, O negative, stuff like that, then you have Rh negative blood. Certain people, particular, I believe it's AB negative and O negative, particularly, have a very rare form of blood. They can donate to anybody on the planet. They can give their blood to anybody, and anybody can take it. That blood is special, but they can only receive from O negative donors. So those individuals don't have, I guess, monkey DNA, if you will. It's really about the only way I can really go into it without being scientifically, adequate enough to really break it down to exactly the species and all that kind of stuff that it is. But there are some videos you can go and look into it. But the people, particularly with O negative blood, don't get sick very often. They actually have a very strong immune system, just naturally. In fact, I actually have a couple friends, more than a couple friends, that have O negative blood. And each one that I've spoken to that has O negative blood, my two friends that I know, one of them, her name is Teresa. She lives in Texas. They don't get sick. They don't get sick. And it's because their body is just naturally strong because of their blood type. So if you happen to have negative blood, it could be that's a good thing that you're Rh negative. But I don't know how it ties into, being who's better, who's not. I have no idea. It just means made different. And then with all the different types of blood, with A and B, AB, O, and stuff like that, it makes me think that there's more genetic crossbreeding that's been happening, which is why we have an A positive and an O negative, or an O positive, O negative, A positive, A negative, AB positive, negative. So it really just kind of goes to show that there's been a lot of genetic manipulation going on with our species, which is why we have all the different types of blood types, not to mention the different types of species. Because if you really, if you go and you look at, I hate saying the word history, but if you go back and you look at how many actual species are on this planet, there's 7 species, of humanoids, if you will. You've got your African Americans, who primarily have black skin, and then you have, your Caucasians, white skin. You've got Asians who get the label of yellow skin. Then you got your Native Americans, and Hawaiians, or actually the Native Americans are considered red-skinned, redskins. And then you've got your islanders who are, brown skin, and the same thing with over in India, your Aborigines. So, there's actual 7 actual humanoid species. Okay. Well, if we kind of look into that a little bit further and say, oh, that's a coincidence. Well, it's a coincidence that there's also 7 continents, 7 oceans, 7 days in a week. Coincidence. Really think about that word, coincidence. Incident. There's an incident. Is like 2, more than 1. Like a co-producer, a co-pilot, co-creator, coincidence. Two things making the incident. It's not like, oh, that's just a happen chance or a happenstance. No, we're using that word wrong. But anyways, so there's a lot to kind of go into it. I do follow an individual by the name of Robert Seifer, Sepher, I believe, and he actually does have a couple of good videos. He's a little long in the tooth when he talks. I talk much faster, but you can tell he's a very humble individual, and he's very smart. The guy's very, very smart. And he actually talks on Rh negative blood in different areas that actually have higher concentrations of Rh negative blood, and it's in an area that's pretty much I can't remember the name of the country right off the top of my head, but it's the country is pretty much engulfed by Russia, and the population of this small country, their people, they have OH negative blood. It's a high concentrated number. It's like 70% of that population has OH negative blood, and they have a totally different culture, a totally different way of life. They look different. Just, I mean, the whole ordeal. Their language is even different. Like, there's so much that's different about them. So there's really a lot of things that we as humans need to start waking up and realizing. I mean, so, I'll be honest with you. A year ago, I had no idea what the hell Tartarian dynasty was. If somebody asked me, "Oh, Tartarian dynasty, what the heck are you talking about?" I wouldn't have had a clue. The videos that you've been seeing me doing, when I started doing videos, from the very first video that I did, I literally researched the heck out of it for almost a week before I was like, okay, I think I know what's happening here, and I started producing out about the Tartarian dynasty. You know, so as I started showing you the videos, I was also learning at the same time, and I knew what to look for. I knew what to look for. And then when I started seeing the signature trails on windy.com on the weather maps, I'm like, whoa, look at that. You got the energy signatures that are, you know, phenomenons that are going on right above star forts. What else are star forts? And I started looking into it. They're everywhere. And this is all part of it. So how far back does it go? I don't 100% know, but there's a lot. You can YouTube, and there's a lot of people that have done way more research than I have, and heck, some of them have actually got me onto the learning. And so I start looking into the different links and actually researching myself and finding things to read about them. But I'm also open-minded. I'm not saying that that's 100% the truth, but my mind is open to it. It's open to the idea of probability, because someone could be on there, could create a website and have an article and be complete BS. Another one could be half true and half BS. And that's the thing. We have to be open-minded about everything, folks. Like with my content that I share with everybody on there. Don't believe none of it. I don't want you to. I'll be honest. I don't want anyone on my channel to believe anything. I want you to research it. Go look for yourself. That's why I do full screen videos. So you can actually hit pause, look and see where the website is, and you can type in the same address, go look for yourself. You know, I tell you where I'm at almost every video. I tell you exactly what website I'm on, and you can go look. That's why I do that, because unfortunately people want to be spoon-fed and they don't want to research. And that's the thing. Some of us, we do a lot of research, and then somebody, oh no, that's bullcrap, blah blah blah. Okay, prove me wrong. You know, I want you to prove me wrong. I want you to try to prove me wrong. Bring me your information, your evidence, prove me wrong. So, anyways, I'll digress from that. Sorry, I got the sun behind me now, folks. But anyways, to get away from the RH and get back to the, oh man, it's windy. I apologize, folks. It wasn't windy earlier. Oh no. Remember earlier when I said there wasn't a doggone chemtrail in the sky? Walking north and looking at my first one. I guess the day wasn't over. I spoke too soon. But anyways, back to the whole star fruit and eating fruits. One of the things that I also learned from my sweetheart Kay was about. I just learned it today. Well, she's mentioned it a couple times, but it really kind of sunk in with me today. Was about fruit was not drinking a lot of water. Now, for most of us, what? You got to drink water. Yeah, we actually do, because we're eating cooked food. We're eating dry food. We have to have water in order to compensate. But if you're eating nothing but fruits, you're getting your water from the fruit. So you're getting your nutrients, you're getting your fruit. I mean, what do you need to drink for? You're getting it all. And it took a couple times of her saying that to me, and today it just literally sunk in. And she told me that, you know, she'll eat like 2 pounds worth of watermelon. And I'm like, oh my, I almost lost my crap. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. 2 pounds? I honestly, I cannot fathom eating a 1/4 pound hamburger, and I'm just thinking weight here. I can't think about eating a 1/4 pound hamburger and a fry and a medium drink without being like, oh my gosh, that just fills me up. I know I'll be full. But she can eat 2 pounds. I'm like, I couldn't eat 2 pounds of anything. But then when she explained, well, think about it, there's a lot of water weight to that. And your body takes and accepts it, and it starts to, because it's natural, your body accepts it right away, and it starts to move through your digestive system a lot faster than a 1/4 pound cheeseburger. Now, no, I don't eat cheeseburgers anymore. And that's another thing, folks. It's going to be hard. There is not going to be anything easy. Because I mean, how long has the American diet been this garbage that we've been eating? A long time. What country? Let's be honest. What country is the most overweight and obese country in the world? Right here, 100%. I know it. So I'm guilty of it too. But as we start opening our eyes and realizing, start looking into the fruitarian diet that I've about, a lot of things start to go click. They'll start making sense. And we need to start realizing that, like, man, we've been steered away. Let me get on the side of the building here, it's not so windy. We've been steered away from the basics so far, most of us don't even recognize the basics anymore. I mean, how basic is food? Just go eat fruit. How basic is that? Pretty basic, pretty easy. How many different recipes with all these different ingredients and all this stuff do you see all over the place? And everybody wants to try all this stuff. And we're all intrigued because we want it to taste good. Yeah, taste is important, but at the same time, our bodies aren't even alkaline. Our bodies are acidic, and that's well known. If you have a nice pH balanced alkaline body, you don't have the obesity. You don't have the thought problems. You don't have bathroom issues. And that's another thing people don't understand. And now I'm not going to sit here and just talk about poop, okay? But it is important to have a regular cycle, to be regular. Every single gastroenterologist in the world will tell you having a regular cycle of going to the bathroom means you have a healthy digestive system, which is a good thing. I literally happen to know an individual who only goes maybe once a week. That's scary. Think about how long it's in there, just rotting. So, anyways, in closing, we need to start rethinking and start thinking, how can I get to the basics? How can I get there? To go from an acidic, meat-eating way to getting to where I'm eating fruit. Well, there's a couple ways. One, just start incorporating it with your diet. Start eating some fruits. Instead of like breakfast, having like, bacon and eggs and fried potatoes and stuff. And hey, guilty. I've done it for years. I just eat fruit. I just eat apples and bananas. That's it. And so I'm slowly moving myself, and I only eat twice a day. I eat bananas and apples, and I'll have something in the evening. I'll have quinoa and maybe some broccoli, or I'll have some fish and some green beans, and fish, of course, yes, it's a meat, but it's a lighter meat. It's better for your body than the red stuff. So I'm just kind of slowly weaning myself away from that stuff. But one of the other things that I've been really intrigued on and really learning about, and I do kind of know about this already, is fasting, the importance of fasting. A buddy of mine, Justin Michael, love you, brother. I hear him talk a lot about, he does a lot of water fasts. They're important. And for those that are very religious, I no longer am. I'm more spiritual than religious by any means. And I used to be Mormon. I was one of the strictest religious persons you could ever meet. But I had to learn to unlearn it, the religious part, because religion is what wars are started over, not spirituality. You're never going to see a war on spirituality. You're going to see a war on religion, war from religion to religion. So anyways, water fasting in the Bible, Jesus fasts for 30 days. Remember? Why did he do that? Jesus, and that's, well, Yeshua really, he was setting an example. He lived his life in the blueprint for us to follow. Think about this. Whether you're religious or spiritual, Yeshua was a real individual. Okay? And his name was Yeshua. So if we look at his life and the things that he did and truly said, not necessarily what the Roman Catholics say that he said, but actually look into what he said. There's other things out there that are written on Jesus' sayings, or Yeshua's sayings rather, the Gospel of Thomas or the Gospel of Q, it's called sometimes. And we actually start listening to the things that he was saying. He was teaching us how to keep our bodies and how to be more spiritual and how to connect with God. One of them is fasting. Fasting is important. In the Mormon religion, every first Sunday of the month is Fast Sunday, where everybody fasts for an entire day, and then we close the day out with a meal with the family. And it's to bring a spiritual awareness. Whenever someone is sick in the church, a lot of the church will fast. And it'll be a rotation of fasts, and they'll stay in prayer and have that person in their thoughts to get better before. And a lot of times I've seen it more than not, the person gets better, and it looks like, like miracles are happening. Well, yes, they are. And we're the ones bringing the miracle because we're bringing our bodies in harmony and not letting the hunger control us. We need to stop letting hunger control us. It controls the world. I mean, think about it. Food population, food scarce, and people are literally freak out and they run to the stores and they just buy up all this stuff because of hunger. Hunger is controlling us. No matter what. Doesn't matter if you're a fruitarian, a vegetarian, or a vegan, or you eat a standard American diet. Food is control. Doesn't even matter about the money. Money, psh, whatever. Food. An entire species could go without money. Try taking away their food. Start thinking about that. So anyways, folks, just remember that I love you, and let's try and get back to the basics and get outside, because sometimes you'll see things going on that you've been seeing and hearing about on different news channels. And when you see it, report it. Be part of the action. Get involved. Remember you're loved, and love is the only way forward.